Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today I've got more awesome news. And it's more awesome news about Evolving Skies. This isn't deliberate, just to be perfectly clear. I'm not like scouring the internet for every tiny little mention of Evolving Skies and going, right, there's another video. But what I am doing is I'm keeping, my ear to the ground and I'm paying attention. I'm looking in all the usual places. And I am finding more and more news about Evolving Skies being out there in the wild. Although, to be clear, it is not just about finding Evolving Skies. It's basically about some old Pokemon tins that just became way better than they were before. And as we start off here, I need to give a gigantic shout out to Pokemon Deals community at Deals_Pokemon over on Twitter, who went and shared this. Best Buy V-Striker tins may have the following packs: 3 Evolving Skies, 2 Fusion Strike. Others have reported all 5 brilliant stars. And then, credit to Canterbergs for, sharing it out. All right. Now, if this is legit, and there is obviously reason to believe it's legit, we'll explain more about this in a moment. I wouldn't be making a video if there wasn't reason to believe it was legit. What we've got here is 3 packs of Evolving Skies for what is like a $25 tin. That is absurd value, ladies and gentlemen. That is absolutely absurd value. I showed you the other day that when it comes to Evolving Skies, a booster pack of Evolving Skies at the moment, like an individual sleeve booster, you're going to be talking somewhere around $10 to go and pick up obviously these aren't sleeve boosters, but the whole point is individual booster packs, that's what you're going to be paying. And honestly, like buying a sleeve booster, the main reason you would do that is because it's much more difficult to tamper with a sleeve booster. There's added inherent security in there that you don't get if you're buying just random booster packs. Well, tins are very much the same kind of deal. So buying this tin, you are more than getting your money's worth just from your free packs of Evolving Skies. If it's free packs of Evolving Skies, we'll get to that more in a moment. Now, these are actually the Empoleon and Tyranitar tins. What is very, very important to note, these are the landscape tins. What generally are considered to be the North American tins. You'll generally see these in North America and then the portrait ones in Europe. It is very, very important to, bear that in mind. I'm not saying that you won't find them in the portrait tins, but I am saying I've not heard any reports, so just be very, very careful, all right? That is very important. And this is just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful news. Also, as a side note, they might not have been initially. Both these cards are like legit playable now. Like both these cards have become really quite good. Empoleon V, remember these are alternate arts of cards from Battle Styles. The old Empoleon V turns off abilities of basic non-V, non-GX Pokemon in the active, which is really great. I mean, it's often used against Lost Bots because of Comfey and stuff like that. But actually, it's just a general good utility card seeing a bunch of play. And Tyranitar was not a good card at all. Didn't see any play whatsoever for a long time. But then Lugia decks came along and started playing Single Strike. And then as soon as Lugia decks became Single Strike decks, all of a sudden this Tyranitar became like really, really good. And then hang on a second, this was obviously when the rotation hit. And now we're in a weird situation where not only are the pack selections actually potentially busted in the tin, but these are actually like genuinely really, really good promos, which is kind of funny because at the point when these were revealed, they were not good promos. Like at all. And yet, in the intervening period, they have kind of magically become good promos, and I like that very, very much indeed. So, are we just getting 3 Evolving Skies, 2 Fusion Strike? We'll talk more about Fusion Strike in a moment. The answer is maybe. Certainly the image that we've got here seems to suggest that's the case. And it is being corroborated by some other people, but it's not quite as straightforward. You know, as the tweet says, some people are reporting all 5 brilliant stars, which is, well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, it is not quite as good. And again, we'll talk more about brilliant stars in a minute, but it's a decent set, it's a fine set, but let's not convince ourselves it's busted like Evolving Skies is. So we can have a look at, for instance, Pokemon trainer Coty, let's go for that, who has clearly posted getting an Empoleon tin with 3 Evolving Skies and 2 Fusion Strike. Different person, same result. So again, what we've got here is a presumption that at least, and again, I'm not saying all, I'll show you in a minute, but at least some of them do seem to have this in, and that's rather lovely. This is good. We like this. And although it doesn't come with a picture, so as always it needs to be taken with a little pinch of salt, Alpha Stoutland is telling us, so far I'm 5 for 5 on 2 Fusion Strike and 3 Evolving Skies from these tins. I've received both Tyranitar and Empoleon also, and then actually got some decent pulls, Celebi V, Sylveon V alternate arts, as well as a full art Silent Jillian Cress. So there are other people coming along and going, yeah, you know what? This has been my experience. So do we all run out as fast as we can and buy these tins? The answer is no. No, we do not all run out as fast as we can and buy these tins, because unfortunately, as the initial tweet would suggest, this is not a universal experience. Some people are unfortunately getting let down. Jeffro, at JeffroNYC, L if I don't pull as hard. The reference there, of course, being to the fact that the best pull in Brilliant Stars is the alternate art of the Charizard V, which is a stunning card. I've not pulled it in English, but I have pulled the Japanese version. It is a beautiful, beautiful card. I've been on a run of pulling ridiculous cards from Japanese boxes lately. It's weird, but there will be no complaints from me. So that's kind of what we're referring to there. If you don't get the Zard, maybe it wasn't particularly good. But we've got here unfortunate proof of another person who's bought these, but not ended up getting the good pack selection. And I don't think 5 Brilliant Stars is terrible, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately, yeah. Now, one thing that is worth noting here is that Brilliant Stars is a newer set than either Fusion Strike or Evolving Skies, so there is a possibility that essentially there have been 2 different runs of the tins. And essentially what's happened here is that the slightly earlier run was done with Evolving Skies and Fusion Strike, set 7 and 8 in the Sword and Shield block. And then a slightly later run was done with Brilliant Stars, set 9 in the Sword and Shield block. That is absolutely possible. And there are some other people that have posted about getting 5 Brilliant Stars as well. Not ideal, don't get me wrong, but there is at least a chance. Enough people have seen this. Now, in terms of Fusion Strike is a weird kind of set because it is the biggest set we've ever had, unless it's been surpassed, which I don't think it has, but as always, correct me if I'm mistaken, it is a set which still holds a record for the biggest set, and essentially there are 3 amazing pulls. That is the alternate art Mew VMAX, the alternate art Gengar VMAX, and the alternate art Espeon VMAX. And then there's a whole bunch of others which just frankly aren't as good. As for Brilliant Stars, I've already mentioned the Charizard. Brilliant Stars is a decent set in and of itself, but it is fair to say that the Charizard is kind of the big pull from it. And then there's a bunch of others which are fine, but that's a really good one. Although I've got to shout out the Luminion, a card I did manage to pull in English, because the artwork is absolutely stunning. And of course, Luminion V is a very, very, very cool card indeed. Brilliant Stars, however, is still readily available on eBay for $3.75 with free shipping. This is just one thing I found. They sold 5,000 packs. If they sold 5,000 and they're still up, they're probably kind of legit. So I'm not obviously promising, please do your own research. Do not buy. That was not meant to be a recommendation. I mean, buy if you want. Don't buy based on that being a recommendation. It was in no way, shape or form a recommendation. I'm just saying the 5,000 sold generally implies that they're probably legit. Because, if not, they would have had thousands of complaints and been taken down. So, no, 5 Brilliant Stars isn't stunning, but the fact that some of them have Evolving Skies in is awesome, and the fact that these 2 promos have magically now just kind of become good, like really good, is so strange to me. When these tins were initially revealed and released, they were very underwhelming. Nobody really wanted these promos. I wanted the Empoleon because I like Empoleon generally, but nobody was like hyped about it. And then all of a sudden, since then, both of these have magically become like really playable cards, and that's just awesome. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to know. One more shout out to the lovely folks over at Pokemon Deals Community for sharing this information. My advice to you is really simple. Test it. If you wish, test it. What that means is, if you see these tins, do not go and buy 10 of them going, yay, Evolving Skies. Go and buy 1 tin, see what the pulls are, and if you get the pulls you want, then start buying more. What you don't want to do is go and buy like 10 tins only to find out they're all Brilliant Stars when you didn't want Brilliant Stars. That would be silly. Right, so yeah, let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon, card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing is and you can get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely AB3, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very, very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.